my goat Kelani Jordan is officially 2-0 over Blake Monroe. Now, this isn't any diss to Blake Monroe. She's great, but come on, with the disrespect Kelani Jordan has been receiving over the past couple of months, just seeing her have this victory, being 2-0 over Blake fucking Monroe, that's just great to see. And I saw a few people be upset about it because, Blake Monroe is apparently so much better than Kelani Jordan. And, I couldn't really hear their opinions over the crying because Kelani Jordan is the GOAT. So, whatever. But okay, let's talk about what actually happened. After Heatwave this past weekend, Blake Monroe wanted a shot at the NXT Women's Championship. And that's when Kelani Jordan walked up. She talked about how she didn't even get pinned in a triple threat match. So Ava set up a match between the two of them. Don't believe it was a #1 contendership match, but it might as well be. So we get this quick little fun match to open the show with. That's when Jordynne Grace in the middle of the match comes up. Blake Monroe tries to run away, but Jordynne Grace blocks her, sends her back to the ring, which is when Kelani Jordan capitalizes and picks up the victory. Again, I do solidly believe this is going to lead to a championship match for Kelani Jordan, probably at NXT Homecoming since they need to stack the card for that. And when it comes to Blake Monroe, she's not going to be harmed by this whatsoever. It's pretty much just a storyline loss. It's in her character for something like this to happen, and it keeps building up the feud between Jordynne Grace and Blake Monroe, so I think it's perfectly fine. Literally no bad consequences from this. So if anyone's crying about Blake Monroe going from AEW Women's Champion to losing to Kelani Jordan, you just didn't watch the show and you're not keeping up with the storylines, and that's your fault. So while that was the opening match of the show, the actual show opened up with Ricky Sainz coming to the ring, and he talked about how he's been in NXT for 6 months. He goes on and lists all his accomplishments like winning the North American Championship, slaying a giant like Jasper Joy, and how he has one goal on his mind, and that's to become the new NXT Champion. That's when Josh Briggs comes out. Briggs also wants the NXT Championship. My guy, you've had, 2 opportunities now? Possibly 3? And you've lost all of them. But okay, I'm going to admit, kind of seeing Josh Briggs and Ricky Sainz now. I've been slandering their names so much over the past couple of weeks. I kind of see the vision. The two of them throw a bit of digs at each other, and they are about to square up. That's when Ava comes up and she announces that tonight we're going to have a #1 contendership match between the two of these men. The winner is going to face Oba Femi at No Mercy. So I guess we might as well just talk about that match right now. Ricky Sainz picks up the victory over Josh Briggs. I think that was what everybody was expecting, but I'm finally starting to get Ricky Sainz. If you've watched my videos, you know about how much I've said there's something missing. I honestly think it was just the fact that the storylines he was in weren't interesting. They weren't really booking him to his biggest potential, which is he's very charismatic, he's very good on the mic. So I think, NXT kind of fumbled in that aspect. Now, not saying they fumbled him, I'm just saying up to this point they haven't booked him correctly. And the way we're booking him now, chasing the NXT Championship, I'm kind of seeing what he really has to offer, and I like that. And when it comes to Josh Briggs, just every single week we see him, I'm getting more and more invested in the guy. So I really do think this was all good. And then after the match, Ricky Sainz looks into the cameras and he says Oba Femi is time's done. And Oba Femi's not just gonna let that slide, right? Nobody's just gonna slander his name. So he comes out and he confronts Ricky Sainz. Ricky Sainz throws at Oba Femi that nobody's reign lasts forever, and Oba Femi just throws back that he sees fear in Ricky Sainz's eyes, and that's when Darkstate comes out. Darkstate just says a bunch of shit, it's not really consequential, before they try and attack the two men in the ring, and then Hank and Tank come out because they lost the tag team championships and it's a 4-on-4 brawl. I'm gonna be completely honest, I'm sick and tired of these matches, man. Initially it was cool with Darkstate having all these 4-on-4 matches, just beating everybody. It was fun because kind of made them feel important, but by this point it's just feeling like we don't know what to do with them, so just throw them in a match with a bunch of big men. And by big men I mean high tier wrestlers, right? So while I am tired of this whole thing, I am excited for the match. It's because Ricky Sainz, Oba Femi, and Hank and Tank, it's kind of a unique mashup of wrestlers to go up against Darkstate. So I think it could be a pretty cool match. I'm just, I'm not really liking the fact that Darkstate is constantly thrown into these 4-on-4 matches, right? I get they're a faction, but it's starting to feel very much the same. But after all of this goes down, Hank and Tank go to Ava's office and they want a tag team championship rematch, and Ava says that after what they did tonight, Darkstate already requested that, so we're gonna have a tag team championship match coming up soon. And same with Ricky Starks and Josh Briggs. I'm really getting Hank and Tank now, especially after the banger of a match on Heatwave. It's funny because for tonight's show, I really bought into a lot of people that I didn't previously see. Like I said, Hank and Tank, Ricky Saints, Josh Briggs. Gonna talk about Tyra May Steele later. Oh, I have a lot to say about that match. Just good stuff though. The next match on the card though is Miles Bourne versus Lexis King in a blindfold match, and damn, this was entertaining. Lexis King might be one of the better character workers in all of WWE right now. He's just so hateable, but he's also so funny. Like, this match was really entertaining. I was initially very skeptical because blindfold matches are honestly a bit too silly for my liking, but this was fucking fantastic. Go check this out, man. I also love how this feud is just never ending. They've had what, like several matches by now in this whole feud, and it doesn't seem like it's gonna end anytime soon. I mean, this was definitely not the last match of this feud because Lexis King scraped the eyes of the referee, lifted up the mask, and then attacked Miles Bourne, picking up the victory that way. A fun cheating victory. He had so much funny moments this match. Really good stuff. We also get a little backstage segment where Trick Williams goes over all the future NXT events, which is Homecoming, No Mercy, and Halloween Havoc, and he asks where he fits into all of this, and he says that he's going to be the headliner for all of this. I mean, this was just pure promotion for all their upcoming events. It was fun, but it didn't really say anything. Although, for some reason, I'm so hyped about all these events. Homecoming, No Mercy, and Halloween Havoc. Like, damn. We see Ren Sinclair, who was freaking out since she didn't find a partner for a match against the culling Izzy Dame and Tatum Paxley, which is when Charlie Dempsey comes up and says he found her a partner, which is Kendall Gray. And I mean, I really love Kendall Gray. If you guys watch Evolve, you know she's been fantastic. And I'm happy, it seems like she's getting called up. I mean, she's been having a lot of appearances. She had that match against Alba Fire a few weeks ago, which she lost, but it was fine. It's still an appearance. And then tonight, you know, I would like her to be called up. I think she adds a lot to the show. And again, just having more women on the show is always better. NXT is like, it should honestly be an all-woman show at this point. Just being totally honest. But Ren Sinclair and Kendall Gray, although being partners, they couldn't pick up the victory. Izzy Dame and Tatum Paxley win. Izzy Dame pins Ren Sinclair, while Kendall Gray had Tatum Paxley in an armbar and she didn't fully realize that her partner was getting pinned. I liked that ending. It was a bit different. It was kind of cool, you know, just those little details that are like kind of fun, right? I do wonder how this storyline between Izzy Dame and Tatum Paxley is going to play out though, because it's very obvious Izzy Dame is just using Tatum Paxley to get, you know, herself in a higher position, and Tatum Paxley is going with it, not fully realizing it, thinking she has a family now. So right, it's been a really interesting story for me and I really liked it. I like this whole tag team and Izzy Dame has benefited so much from everything here. I just wonder how it ends, because the idealistic choice would be to have Izzy Dame win a championship and then through that she just kicks Tatum Paxley to the side because she doesn't need her anymore. That seems like the logical choice, but Izzy Dame's not going to win that NXT Women's Championship, and I have a hard time seeing her win the North American Championship. But it could honestly make sense because, you know, Soruka and Zaria are a team. It would make sense for Izzy Dame to win that championship with Tatum Paxley being there to equal the odds. So maybe that's the route we're going. And I think it would be pretty big for Izzy Dame to win that championship. And it gives a clear route for Tatum Paxley to eventually take it away from her. And with how much people have been begging for Tatum Paxley to finally win a championship, that could be the perfect storyline to do it through. The next match on the card is Tyra May Steele with Tavion Heights going up against Alba Fire with Ethan Page, Chelsea Green, Piper Niven, and all those stuff. And Alba Fire has been getting a lot of time on NXT recently, and that's good. I mean, if anybody remembers her time as Kaylee Ray, she is an absolute banger of a wrestler. I mean, you know, she had a victory over Kendall Gray recently, and although she lost tonight, it's still a pretty big match to be put in, and she also played a big part in the Chelsea Green's victory at Heatwave, so she's getting a lot of time. I don't think it's going to lead to anything, but it's kind of cool seeing her get this opportunity. And when it comes to Tyra May Steele, I don't know what it is, but she just has it, right? Tonight's show was so weird because I bought into so many people. Sorry, I sound like a broken record. I said that earlier. But hey, I'm just glad Tyra May Steele is finally getting some time on television. She was taken off of television for a while, at least NXT, and put on Evolve. But I'm glad she's back now. She really fits NXT a lot better than Evolve. And like I said, there's a lot there to work with. She's gonna be big one day. Now Tyra May Steele does pick up the victory, but after the match, Ethan Page, Chelsea Green, and the Secret Hervis just all lay down the law and beat down Tavion Heights and Tyra May Steele. They make Tyra May Steele watch as Ethan Page throws the Canadian flag over Tavion Heights' laid out body. A cool little thing. I'm so hyped for where this is all going. I mean, I don't think at all Tavion Heights should defeat Ethan Page, but I do feel like it's gonna be a good little storyline for him. And Tyra May Steele should absolutely defeat Chelsea Green in this feud. It would elevate her so much. Chelsea Green does have a lot of not reputation, but she has a lot of accolades. She was the first United States Women's Champion. She's very over, so a victory like that for Tara May Steele would be big. And again, with Davion Heights, he's cool, but I don't see this feud turning out well for him. And as we head to the main event, there's a lot I want to talk about. This is probably my favorite part of the whole show. It's everything to do with the Women's Speed Championship. So it's announced that we're going to have that tournament. They announced it on Heatwave for the Women's Speed Championship. It's going to be Zaria Brookside from TNA, Fabi Apache from AAA, Candice LeRae from main roster, and Lainey Reed from NXT. And that's going to be a lot more important later, specifically Lainey Reed. But let's get to Fatal Influence, a little segment where JC Jane says Ash by Elegance stole the Knockouts Championship since she didn't technically pin JC Jane. I doubt we're gonna get a rematch for that, it doesn't seem logical, but we move on, we live. But JC Jane says she at least made history by being the first NXT Women's and TNA Knockouts Champion, and she still plans to hold 2 belts since she's ready to bring the Speed Championship back home to the group. Jasmine Inks is very excited. She's trying to step up. She's trying to go and win that Speed Championship. But JC Jane just says nah, and it's technically her fault for losing the Knockouts Championship, and that she wants Fallon to go chase it instead. And you guys know how high I am on Jasmine Inks. One of my first videos on this channel was a video praising Jasmine Inks, saying she looked like a star. And I still believe that. I still have a lot of hope for her. And this whole storyline seems like it's going the direction of Jasmine Inks leaving and turning babyface. And that I would like. But the reason I think specifically that's happening, Lainey Reed has been really getting into Fatal Influence's business. And she's been really warming up to JC Jane. And she's in the Women's Speed Championship. I really think Lainey Reed is going to win that tournament. Possibly win the Speed Championship. And that's going to involve with Jasmine Inks, because Jasmine Inks was explicitly told no. And then you see the vision? Like, it all just lines up so perfectly. And while it would suck to see Ruka lose that championship, the Speed Championship, and no longer be sold 2 belts, you know, the storyline is just perfectly there. Regardless, we head into the main event, Lola Vice and Zaruka versus Fatal Influence. During the match, Lainey Reed comes to look onto the match. Again, it's all coming together, right? It's all just there. And it's a really fun match, a really long match, but really good. Again, NXT is just at its best when the show is filled with women's actions. Like, we had 4 out of the 6 matches tonight were women's matches. And yeah, women's wrestling is just my favorite part of wrestling right now, so I'm just so happy we're getting it. Anyways, Lola Vice pins Fallon Henley and gives her team the victory. I like that. I'm really buying into Lola Vice. I want to see her win that championship at No Mercy. I don't know how likely it is. I mean, I could see it going either way. But man, I want Lola Vice to win that championship. She's been building up so much momentum, going to AAA, being good there in NXT. She's had so much. I want to see her as NXT Women's Champion. It's long overdue. But that was NXT for you tonight. And honestly, it's just another 10 out of 10 show. NXT is by far the best weekly show there is. You know, there's not even a doubt about it. It just is. And I like it. And like I said, with the women's action, even next week, we're going to have a bunch of women's action. We're going to have Zaria Brookside and Candice LeRae for the Speed Championship. A really fun match that you wouldn't expect to see on NXT. Jetta Parker vs. Lash Legend is going to have a match to conclude their feud or maybe build it further. Probably going to see a lot of these storylines continue. So just, you know, it's going to be so great. And tonight just was perfect. It was perfect. So yeah, that was your NXT for tonight. If you liked my review, please leave a like, subscribe. I cover NXT and TNA every week, as well as Evolve and potentially Raw and SmackDown soon. I'm considering it, really considering it. So yeah, leave a like, subscribe. Let's get to 600 subscribers. I hope to see you guys again soon. Goodbye, everyone.